to another episode of Rating ALL Pokémon with me, Hilda. I have some reflection in my glasses and I cannot seem to fix it, so you're just gonna have to deal with it. I'm sorry, but like why do humans have to wear glasses? I tried many different angles and it's just not happening, so. Last week we talked about the beautiful, majestic blue bird Pokemon Altaria. That is what we ended on last week, but today we are starting out with something completely different. Number 335, Zangoose. Now, Zangoose is famous for its ongoing feud with Seviper, which is the next Pokemon we're talking about. Zangoose is a combination of a cat and a mongoose, and those are known to actually fight with snakes a lot. And for fun, people used to throw a mongoose and a snake into a pit together and let them fight a battle to the death. Which kind of sounds like Pokemon to me, to be honest, but it's illegal now, which thank God it is, because that is not great. That's not a great time. As my art guy, Foof, mentioned while he was drawing Zangoose, Zangoose really looks like a Digimon, and it really actually does. He said that, and I was like, yeah, it really does, doesn't it? Could have been a Digimon. So, Pokemon and Digimon aren't that different from each other. Guys, only Pokemon is better. So Zangoose has these claws. He uses that to scratch its opponents and hurt them a lot. It usually is on 4 legs, but when it really gets eager to battle, it will go on 2 legs and just be cool. It looks like a gangster animal to me. I don't know why. Honestly. Literally every single Pokédex entry is about its ongoing feud with Seviper, so apparently that is the only thing that identifies like Zangoose as what it is, because there's really nothing interesting to tell about it apart from the fact that it has an ongoing feud with Seviper. There's nothing else. Zangoose's name comes from the Japanese word san, which means to cut down, and mongoose. It just makes a lot of sense. There is really nothing else. That's what it is. I really do like the way Zangoose is designed. I like the way it looks, but it's just really not that appealing to me to use in the games or whatever. So I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5. Next up is Zangoose's arch enemy, Seviper. Now, all I remember about Seviper in the anime is that it constantly went, Seviper! And I found that very interesting. Now, Seviper is a little bit more interesting than Zangoose is because it has this like sword knife blade on its tail which it uses to cut down opponents, and that is kind of epic. Seviper, since it's a snake Pokemon, it can wrap itself around other Pokemon, and it has poisonous fangs, and that knifey tail is also poisonous. And again, every single Pokédex entry about Seviper is about its ongoing feud with Zangoose, and I guess that is what it's gonna be, man. There's nothing interesting about it. These two Pokemon have like separate senses that like tingle when they're near each other, and then they start getting really aggressive, and it's kind of weird, but Pokemon. Seviper's name comes from the word sever, as in to cut or detach, because of its knifey tail, and Viper, obviously. Seviper's name isn't reversible like the other snakes, because if you reverse it, it's Rapives. This doesn't mean anything. It just sounds like a Harry Potter spell. 4 out of 5. You just don't bring too much to the table, Seviper. Number 337 is the meteorite Pokemon Lunatone. I mean, it's pretty obvious Lunatone is a moon-shaped Pokemon. It is like a combination of a moon and a meteorite. It was first discovered at a meteor crash, and its health is kind of based on the phases of the moon. It's the most powerful during full moon, and it's like weakest when the moon is the smallest. Lunatone uses its psychokinetic powers to float. I remember Lunatone from the annoying twin gym leaders in Moss Deep City. Is it Moss Deep? When I was young, I could not defeat those two, and I don't even know why, because now I'm playing Oras again. Like, it's super easy. But maybe I was just dumb and I didn't know how to fight them. Lunatone also has this creepy ass face, and if you stare into its eyes, you will most likely fall asleep. Not because it's boring, but because it will like hypnotize you or something. So Lunatone's name comes from Luna, which is Latin for moon, and stone. I don't really see it because it should have been called Lunastone. Like, tone can come from so many different things, so why isn't it called Lunastone? Well, the French name though is Solrock, which comes from Selene, who is the goddess of the moon. I love it, and rock, which means rock. But yeah, cool. It's like a moonstone. I give it a 5 out of 5, it's cool. Next up is Lunatone's counterpart, Solrock, which is also a meteorite Pokemon, but this one actually resembles the sun. They may have all called it like the judgmental Pokemon, because have you seen its eyes? It literally looks at you like it's judging you all the time. And it scares me, because things that judge me are not my friends. So stop it, Solrock, just open your eyes and look at me. With respect. God. So Solrock relies on solar energy, which it gathers during the day when the sun is out. It makes a lot of sense. Lunatone is also able to sense the emotions and feelings of others, and probably judge your emotions and feelings, because look at its face. Hell no. Solrock's name comes from the word sol, which is sun in Latin, and rock. See? Now they can use the entire word. Why isn't Lunatone called Lunastone? Like, they're not consistent and it bothers me a lot. 5 out of 5. Number 339 is Barboach. Barboach is a water and ground Pokemon that lives under the mud. They call it the Whiscash Pokemon. Now, I personally love that, even though it should be the type for a cat and not a fish. So Barboach has these whiskers, or barbels, as you may also call them, because it's called Barboach. And it uses these whiskers to serve as some type of radar in muddy water. It will hide underneath the mud and have its little whiskers sticking out. And while it has these whiskers sticking out, it will wait for prey and then bloop, murder it. Just like a lot of water and mud Pokemon, Barboach is covered in a slimy film which protects it from bacteria and will also make it very slippery, so that when you take it, like you try to catch it out of the water, it will just slip out of your hands. This is an actual fact. This is... I mean, you can't make it up. Here's a annoying Pokédex entry. From Pokemon Platinum, its slimy body is hard to grasp. In one region, it is said to have been born from hardened mud. Now, I have been reading all these Pokédex entries, and there's no region that talks about it being born from hardened mud. So what fucking region are they talking about? What region? Tell me what region. Is it a region we don't know about yet? Like what does Sun and Moon say about it? Ooh, I just found another funny fact from Pokemon Moon. Its slippery body is hard to grasp, so much so that there are festivals where people compete to see how many they can catch bare hand. Oh, that is actually really fun. I like that. That wasn't there when I first checked it, I think. Barboach is probably based on the Dojo Loach, which is a fish that has a slimy film. It can cover itself under the mud. It uses its little whiskers to catch a prey, so it's evident it's based on the Dojo Loach. I kind of like Barboach. I think it's a little bit underrated, so I'm gonna give it a 5 out of 5 for underratedness. Now at level 30, Barboach evolves into Whiscash. Now Whiscash is a catfish Pokemon. It's really big, it's really territorial. It will like own its pond and be the master of that pond. That's his pond. Don't get near his pond. It's his pond. Whiscash can cause earthquakes that extend over 3 miles, and it's pretty badass. It's a bad boy. It literally eats anything that's alive, and also it eats things that are not alive. Kinda gross, but Pokemon. Design-wise, I think Whiscash is really cool. It looks like it should look. Like, if you look at the description of the Pokemon, I think it really looks like that Pokemon. Whiscash may be based on the Namazu, which is a fish or a catfish in Japanese folklore that can actually cause earthquakes. And Whiscash's name comes from the words whiskers and moustache. Now, I love that. Anything that has the word moustache in it makes me very happy. So, Whiscash also gets a 5 out of 5. And that was it for today, my friends. I hope you enjoyed today's episode. If you do, tell your friends and your family about me and my very, very interesting Pokemon facts. I have nothing else to say. And I really need to burp. Give me a second. Did you learn anything new today? Or did I miss something very important about one of these Pokemon? Do you ever use one of these Pokemon in battle? Leave a comment or something, and I will see you again next week. I love you guys, don't forget, and goodbye. Number 330. Next up is number 3. I hate the word 3. It should be banished from the languages.